once again, it's time, my friends, for another meet and greet. We're Southern Fried and nationwide, so hang on to your seat. Look around, here's what I found. I guess you'll never know what you'll see on the Southern Fried Podcast Show. Yeehaw.
Hey folks, Dave in the AM here with the Southern Fried Podcast and the Cornbread Nation. For many weeks now, me and Rob have been telling you about our affiliation with Dubby Energy Drinks. I've been drinking some of them on the show, and I just got in today the powder version, and this is the Pond Blom version of this. And hey, I tell you that it gives you the focus and the energy without the jitters or the crash. There's no sugars, no fillers, no artificial dyes. So get you some Dubby today. Use the promo code Southern Fried, and you'll get 10% off each and every order. Not only can you get the energy drinks, but you can also get some cool merch items. In fact, soon we're going to have a hat to show you as an example of some of those things. There's shirts and other things you can get as well as containers to mix up the powder and the water into that you can carry with you. We appreciate your support of the Southern Fried Podcast and also of Dubby Energy Drinks. We'll see you again soon. Take care. Southern Fried Podcast News Desk, conservative and Christian news brought to you each Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We will be covering news that affects America and you. From politics nationally and to the state level, we will discuss topics that are breaking each week and get your input as well. Join us each week for news from a conservative and Christian outlook. God bless America and God bless you. And good evening. How is everybody doing? Appreciate those of you already in here. Hello, Michael. Good to see you in the chat. Hope you've had a blessed Sunday. Thank you for the Instagram followers that are in their side of this thing. We see you. And if you have a comment, we'll slide it over so that everybody can see it. I need to continue to put up our Discord channel thing. I'm trying to build that up so we can all kind of join in the same place and leave messages when we're in between shows. So I've been trying to do that. I hope you've had a great day. It's we're just 10 days away from Christmas, and it's exciting time. It should be. I know there's always challenges, but it is good to be. Join our Discord there. I'm going to pop that into the chat. And if you'd like to, and I promise you, it doesn't, not yet does it stay busy. You can always mute those if you need to. But it's been a good day. We had a good services today, and I did have a good prayer time this afternoon. Pray for my wife. She is doing better. She's had some problems today. That's been the only negative thing. But boy, there's lots of news going on. We're going to talk about some of that. As we look at some of the news bites for the day, as Sunday's always a day that gets active. You have the Sunday shows, and then you have a lot of announcements and stuff. It seems like heading into the Monday news and everything. So I do work some of this week. I am taking some time off, and I'm going to be heading south, Lord willing, on Wednesday. And if all goes well, you know how life can be. If all goes well, me and Rob will be in the studio together. Now, we're in here together on stage together but we'll actually be in the studio together live come Wednesday night for Hump Day News. And that will be a first. And so we hope to do Hump Day News. We'll do a Friday morning show and we'll do Front Porch Talk. And those are definites that we should be in studio together. I won't say that there won't be another. We may add in one. Those are regularly scheduled programming. We'll try to add in a special. We've talked about it. We'll see. But we do have a lot of work to get done, as well as time with the family and sightseeing. It's a slash work and vacation at the same time. And me and Rob's going to get a lot done. That is the goal. A lot of things while I'm there. And sadly, Cowboy Cook can't make the trip. He had been planning to go, and we're going to have to just do it again and get him there. It's not his fault or anything. It's not anybody's fault. It's just life. But his mom had a real important doctor's appointment that rescheduled for the day after we leave. And she's got to have some surgery. And he messaged me, and they both were bummed out about it. And I'm like, hey, take care of business. Don't worry about it. I hate that, but that's life. And so we're excited about it. Don't forget, Cornbread Nation show is going to be debuting in January. This will only there'll be things on there that we don't do in any other show. It's going to have a uniqueness about it. We try to make every show have some uniqueness about it. They do. They all have their own character. There is thought that goes in to each show. And we do have new logos and things are on the way. I've been very active and working with some software and stuff. And I've already designed up one for the morning show that is simple but elegant, if I could say it that way. And I think it fits the morning show. But there'll be new logos on the way. New backgrounds are going to be on the way. You might even see, who knows what you'll see. We've had some that were quite comical that I come up with. I used some AI, and I got to have too much fun. And if I'd had a picture of Robert when I was doing it, it would have been great. But I was putting cryptids sitting on the front porch drinking coffee with Rob. It was supposed to be Rob. I just put a middle 50s age, white guy sitting on his porch. They were comical. I laughed so hard. And actually, one of the cryptid photos that I came up with, we probably will use. I'm probably going to use it, but we're going to mimic that same picture when spring comes. Robert loved it. So we had some contact today by some veterans that had from Robert's talk, and so in February we're going to have we're going to have 4 veterans on. I think the plan is to have each of them individual. They're going to come in and talk about their experiences and things. And then we hope to have a show where they all come in together. We wanted to give each one, I say we, it's Robert heading it up. Of course, we always touch base with each other, and he did with me. These veterans will come in and talk about that. And it's hard for them, but they did contact today. I saw the email. He's already reached back and planning that. We also have a friend of mine who has a side business who was supposed to be on, but has been sick, and also dad dealing with some illnesses. I won't say what it is, but it's real difficult for them right now. And she said, could she do it later? And absolutely. We just want to be a blessing here. So sometime in the near future, we're going to have her on. She's actually going to do a promo Main Street program with us about her side business, and she's a hoot. She's a lot of fun. I can't wait for her to be a part, and I think it's just going to be a real big blessing. I talked to a new coffee shop that I would like to get on and just tell their story. She's a former teacher. She said she would definitely be interested. I also have, I don't know if she might be listening in. You never know who he is, but we have a young lady. She's got her card, and that we met at the place where you throw axe and different things, axes, and have fun with that. And she's got quite a story, and she's going to be coming on with us in the near future as well. We appreciate Steve very much with Half Pine Forge for being on Friday night, as well as my sister. We had a fun time with that. And, it may not be your thing, and not that we're listening to those things now, or some of them were, but maybe I'm not. But it's all part of our history, and we talked music, and we're going to do that again. We're going to talk music. It was a lot of fun. Just talk about different things, and these are all things that kind of made us who we are in a way. It's all experiences rather, and and music is important. We may not all like the same music, but music is important. And so that was a lot of fun. So they will be a part 2 of that. And it really is leading into a future show that it's actually been on the table, being sort of semi-designed for months now, really. And that is going to be a music show that encompasses different things. It could be what we did Friday was a talk show with guests who were talking about various music from many angles, and it eventually will be people coming in playing their music. That was a vision of mine. Months ago, the Southern Fried Soundstage, and we don't have that set yet, but that's basically what we were doing without even really thinking about it. It is just kicking that off really. Because it's been sitting out there too long. Well, you didn't tune in for all that, but I like to give you announcements and stuff because we not own every hour of the day, and it's important to give you some things that are going on, and there's many more things beyond that. And again, we knew that going into 2025 was going to be it's going to be an exciting year. We're excited for it. Things are really clicking along for us, and we so appreciate you giving us your time and making the Southern Fried podcast, your sometime home for podcasts. We appreciate that. We know you watch other things. We all do. But we appreciate you giving us time, and we put a lot of work in, a lot of creativity that we're trying to come up with. A couple of country bumpkins like us, but we work hard at it, and we do. And others have helped us along the way too. We appreciate each of you. Michael's been real faithful to be in the streams and taking part. But there's a lot that's going to come down the way, and so we've been active for about 7 months, and that 7 months has been really just us pouring ourselves into it, and just trying to get better every day. And I think we're doing that. I mean, some might say, well, you're not, but don't listen to them. Never let people trounce on your dreams. Just keep going. Doesn't mean we can't improve things. Certainly, we're going to do that. We're in a couple of, about 3 weeks, I guess it would be, a couple of weeks actually. It might not be finished. There's certainly some things you might not notice it because we probably won't have it on camera, but I have a new studio that's going to be, I'm going to be sitting in. This will be a backup studio. It's going to be much bigger. It's going to have more room. Cowboy Cook will be in studio a lot more. There'll be hopefully more than one camera. He'll be on mic, and we've got a couple of things that's going to roll up on that too. We'll not really talk about yet. It's a lot of work to do. It won't be in the first show, but we're going to be introducing some bits that we've been talking about for a little bit. And so we look forward to that. And it just give us more room to have people in studio if they want to come in. And then probably in the middle of the year, Rob's going to probably do the same thing. We'll wait and see. But he has already redesigned his studio a little bit, and we're just always adding to it. We're always adding to our ability and getting more and more things. I was actually shopping Friday. Was that not Friday? I was shopping. What day? Well, I guess it was Friday. I was shopping Friday for a few things. Went out and priced a few things, and wanted to be in the store looking at some stuff and getting ready for that. So. Good things on the way. And then the second show was the Southern Fried MAGA, which will debut the day that the president is sworn in. We're going to have a lot of live programming that day and really try to cover the event. We'll have the TV going to the side, and we'll be covering that event at times. I don't know how much, but it'll be multiple times through the day. And of course, that's a broadcast day for us. It'll start the morning show, and I'm going to take off that day, and then there'll be multiple shows throughout the day, and then we'll end the night with Mama Said, probably a special version of Mama Said with what's going on, formatted for that, and maybe have guests in. Not sure yet. Speaking of that, before we move into the news, Monday night, Travis Middleton. Thank you, Michael. That's very nice of you to say. I really, really appreciate that. And you're a big help in that. You really are. Travis Middleton, who won the school board election, I asked him if he would stop by Monday. He said he was good with that. So I said, as long or as short as you whatever you want to give us, but that come in and sort of thank people for his election, and then also just talk about now that he is elected, his vision, and so it's a feel good thing. But we always like to do that, and he was kind enough to come on a couple of times. I believe that it was a help to him. I believe everything helps, and I know it helped because people saw him on the program and mentioned it to me, and they were Travis supporters, and so they were glad. They said good. They were glad that we did it, and we'll in 2025 you'll see more of that. You'll see more elected officials on, people running for office. We're building, and it's not that we're all news. We're not. We're lots of things, but you'll see that because I think it's important. And to be a good American, we need to be involved in knowing what's going on the local level, state level, federal level, and we'll get them all eventually. Lord willing, the creek don't rise and all that stuff. We'll get them in, and not only in our area but across the United States. There's definitely people I want to reach out to and have them in. We did try to get a couple that we didn't get this past time, but we did make the attempt. And I know their time is we're new, and their time is busy, and they can't be everywhere. But we did reach out to a couple of senators that we didn't get, and we'll get them on though, because we take this seriously. It is the Southern Fried Podcast. Let me say this right before we go on the news: it is the Southern Fried Podcast, but it is much more. It is a podcast, but it has a lot of pillars to it. I might say it that way, and all of that's going to come up underneath a media group in the near future. Probably and most likely we'll be calling that the Southern Fried Media Group. But that is something that we're going to be doing. We've talked about this many times, and it will be the umbrella that holds everything. The Cornbread Nation, the Southern Fried Podcast, the news division. Yeah, we're going to be a news outlet, and we hope to get to be credentialed in the future. Which will give us even a little more standing. And we think we can get there. We'll see. Like I said, always reach, don't let somebody tell you no, just keep going. If people had, if I know of a man, if he'd listened to people, there wouldn't be a Chick-fil-A today, because he failed. He failed. In fact, if you look at most business leaders, it was years of struggle and sometimes great heartaches, but they kept at it. That's what you got to do. It's the American dream, by the way. That's, the American dream is to come and build something. By the way, there's a lady, and I forget where this was in Jacksonville, Florida. I don't know this young lady, or this, I say young, I think she was about 64. And in the area where they live, and this is the problem we got in America right now for businesses, the crime and cost and inflation and all that. But there's a lot of crime in the area that she's at. She was an Asian immigrant. She worked her butt off. And grinded every day. And she had her finally, they worked hard, her and her husband, but she started her own business and was doing great. Thank you, Michael. And that's helpful. I mean, it lets us know that we are making a difference and putting these out there. Thank you for that. But this lady, they have crime in the area, and a lot of the businesses have been shoplifted. Well, 3 individuals came into her shop. It's hair care products and stuff like that. And, they picked up a bunch of it. And she, what her instinct was not to stand back and let them get away with it. Her instinct was to go after them and say, this is mine. And she went to grab it. And unfortunately, they ran over her and killed her in their getaway. They don't know who these people are yet. It is an ongoing investigation to find them. Pray for her family. I think her last name was Kim, Kim. I hope I'm being right. The news article is, I believe, on the Jacksonville news stations, and I happened to read that today. And that epitomizes what's going on in America right now. Is the crime level. These businesses are trying to, have a business, working hard, and this whole letting people come in and steal stuff. And I'm not saying she should have chased them down, but you know what? It's like we've been saying. Oh, Joe's saying enough is enough, and that's going to be one of those ongoing things that we have going forward. Is enough is enough, and so we got to get things better. So let's talk about news now. Well, we're here to talk about news, and I appreciate you listening through that. I hope it's helpful. We try to make you a partner in everything we're doing, let you know what's going on. No secrets here. Sometimes we just don't put things out because we're still working on it. Well, we got drones all over the place. I've been reading quite a bit about this. Robert brought it up, and I've read a few things, and I've read some all sorts of background information, people on the ground, people that seemingly are involved. The news is filled today with this idea of the drones and what's going on, and specifically sightings above New Jersey and New York. And there has maybe started to be some spotted elsewhere. And what are they? They're quite large, most of them. And what are they doing? And there are people on both sides of the political aisle, which is unusual. You don't usually get agreements, but the voices have been speaking out, are saying we need to have an investigation. What are these things? And some of them even said, we don't need individuals doing it, but maybe we just need to shoot them down. Let the federal government shoot them down. Well, the problem is, I think there probably is a federal government. See, that's the question. Are they Chinese or some other place, or are they our own? Are they military? I would tend to lean to that it's our military doing a testing response times and other things. Now, there is a guy that's on the socials, and he's been posting quite a bit, and he doesn't have a lot of followers, and I think one of his channels already got struck. And I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, but you can probably easily find it. I think this was on X. And he says, this is a he said, she said, but he said, he had quite a long post about it, that these drones are being used to test. They're a special design to test for radiation. And that there's some of these are in use in Ukraine already, and it's to test because of the fear of Russia using dirty bombs or some other terror group. And not that they suspect that, obviously we've not had a dirty bomb go off, but could they detect it from the air that this type of thing was somewhere there? And they're designed to grid pattern a city and fly over the skies and investigate that stuff. So that was his take on it, that there's several reasons to test the response time to see how people would act if they were flying over their city, and also how good is the detection, So I don't know. That was his take. Michael says that Mark Levine, Mr. the great Mark Levine, love Mark, was showing. By the way, I don't always agree with Mark, but I do like Mark a lot. We agree on more than we disagree. Mark Levine was showing all the stuff the Biden administration is pushing through before January, thousands of items, some of billions of dollars attached to them. That is true. They are trying to push through as much as they can before obviously their power is over. There'll be those that'll step down, and obviously Biden is, he's riding off in the sunset, doing whatever. But yes, they will try to push through as much as they can. Try to get money sent, money earmarks, and whatever it is for projects within and outside the country as well. I would say you'll see a lot of that. Now, I don't know if they, sometimes even for themselves, the wheels of federal government move slow. It's kind of funny that they say we're going to do stuff, but then it takes forever to get those things in motion. And so they may say we're going to do it. Then it may be that some of those things they may get stopped, by the time the President Trump is sworn in. I don't know. So yeah, that is true that was going on. A couple of headlines about the drones on Newsmax. Officials, quote unquote officials, most drone sightings are really manned aircraft. And there has been some of that too. There certainly has been some, because a lot of this has been at night, and you can see you can see the lights and everything, and the basic outline of helicopters and one video I saw, a lady was saying it was a drone. You could actually hear it was a helicopter, and also small planes. There's a lot of air traffic over New York and New Jersey, so you can believe yourself into seeing anything you want. There is that, although there is drones too, and there's a lot of drones. There's drones over every city, no doubt, but not to this level. Mike Waltz says drones, his quote, drones show gaps in airspace security. Well, there could be that too, and that may be something they're testing for this. Former CIA officer, drones may be classified exercise, which is what I heard. It was a classified exercise, which is sort of being leaked out. Chris Christie from New Jersey, wrong to claim drone activity not unusual, and he's right because it's more than we normally see. So there's definitely something going on. President Trump, his quote, "Come clean on drones or shoot them down." Oh, Michael goes on to say, Levine said a lot of unelected positions and things they think Trump can't reverse. There may be some of that, but I think if you get enough people in place that'll do the votes, you can probably undo many things. I mean, Lord knows Biden come in and undone a lot of things that Trump did. And I heard they were trying to Biden proof, some of that stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. It could be either way. Fred Filtz says larger drones, likely from military, CIA. I would tend to agree. And the last quote, mystery drones spotted all over the world. Well, I wouldn't be surprised about that too, that these drones, and I made a couple of jokes about it, and we got to keep our humor too, that they were from New York and everything. And why did they pick New Jersey? Well, the guy that was posting all that information, he had a couple of reasons why that too. And I don't remember everything he said, but because of their positioning to the coast, and there was a couple other things was why he thought it was there, and the top of city they are, and I don't know. He had several things, but he did try to talk through that of why these drones might possibly be, and that's on the federal judge appointments, Michael. It's possible that, they can't, but they're going to have to speed up or they're not going to get them all in anyway. I don't really know that we're ever 100% have every seat full. It seems that every president gets behind on this. I don't understand that. I really don't. I don't know if that's congressional fighting that goes on in some of these subcommittees, but it seems like there's a real slowness to filling federal judge seats. You would have thought they would have already done that. I mean, they've been in power for almost 4 years. Why would they not already have that done? It's a mystery to me. I've not dug into it deep enough to know, and I'm sure somebody listening probably knows much more about it. I'm just assuming it's the fight that goes on, and you have to have so many hearings and just the time factor, whatever it is. But at one point there was, lots of these. Dozens of these that were not filled. I don't know what, why they would be open like that. You would think it'd be a natural progression to fill these seats, because if you don't have seats filled, then other judges have to help fill in, and caseload gets behind. Every court case, every court, in America is behind. Pretty much, and some of them are way behind. And you remember when all those people came, over the border, even the ones that they tracked to a degree, they got some sort of information, gave them their get out of jail free card. I'm just joking, but that's, all the stuff they gave them. One of the things they gave them was a court appointment. That was what they said. We can release them. They have a court appointment. Some of those court appointments were 7 years away. That's how backlogged. Now that's a lot of people, and I know that's what drove that, but sometimes cases take years to be seen. Well, they probably did spend a lot of time to it, but they're not the only administration, Michael, that has gotten behind on the federal judge seats. This has been a problem. Trump even he put a lot through, but I don't know that he ever filled all of them. So you make good points, and I'm not disagreeing with you. I just think that this has been a problem that's went forward much more than just because of what they're trying to do. Some headlines here. I want to dive in a little bit. We may come back to drones, but there was some. Trump was busy on Sunday over the weekend, and he was getting some more of his appointments. He has named Edward Walsh as the ambassador to Ireland. Ireland, interestingly, news today was that Israel, they've shut their embassy down in Ireland. And because they said there was so much anti-Semitic activity, rulings and things, and other things that was going on in the nation. That's pretty shocking, though, to think about that Israel's closed their embassy in Ireland. You just don't think about it that way, but that's what happened. So he's named Edward Walsh, ambassador to Ireland. We'll look at these a little deeper in just a second. Devin Nunes. Now, Devin was a member of Congress. His state. He was part of the state government in California, wine countries where he represented. And then he left that to be Trump's man at Truth Social and CEO, matter of fact. And by the way, we want to say thank you to all the Truth Social followers that it's just exploded for us in the last 24 hours. I think we've had something like 70 followers come in on just in the last 24 hours. It's probably a little bit more than that now. Thank you so much. But he has named him to lead the Intelligence Advisory Board, Devin Nunes. I've enjoyed listening to him. He seems very balanced. I like things he has to say. I really enjoyed listening to him when he was in government because he was trying to turn things around in California. There, that's a very conservative area that was over that wine country, pretty conservative, middle of the road to conservative, and he obviously was a friend of President Trump, and so now he gets named to this Intelligence Advisory Board. Trump also named Troy Edgar as DHS Deputy Secretary, and he also names Bill White as the Belgium ambassador. So there's a lot of these appointments that will be going on, and I'm going to look closer at this embassy closure too in Ireland. I want to look at that just real quick. Finally, before we look at some of these appointments, Netanyahu and Trump are discussing Gaza hostages. It has been said that Hamas only come to the table because of the push by Trump. Well, we knew that would happen, and we know what that message was: get it done. And Trump proofing. Well, they're not going to be able to proof all that, Michael. Will Trump come in? Every time they try to proof Trump proof anything, if it blows up in their face. So, they're going to be fighting against him, but you just move forward and get things done. I do want to say quick before we look at these appointments. Trump has said within the first 9 minutes he's going to pardon the majority, not all. The majority of the J6ers. It's not going to be all because there are some that, they did some bad things. And for whatever reason they did, and some people might disagree, but, you got out of control and you did bad things and you just can't do that. Most of the J6ers were peaceful. They didn't do anything. So then the Justice Department turns around and says, well, if you take the pardon, it means you're admitting guilt. So they're trying to get their victory lap. There's truth in that. I see that. You can't be pardoned from something that, you got to admit guilt or whatever. But come on, that's semantics, just get it done. These people don't need to go home, need to be let out of jail, need to get their rights restored back into them. And, let's move on. Let's just move on. I'm sure the news will be blowed up over that. The J6ers, I can see it now. They will be, everybody be called Nazis and white nationalists and everything. I can see the headlines now, but you know what? It needs to be done. So let's look at a couple of these appointments with this Ireland, Israel shutting down their embassy there. Let's look at Edward Walsh. This is on Newsmax. I want to give full disclosure and credit by Eric Mack. He says, I am pleased to announce that Edward Sharp Walsh, PE, will serve as United States ambassador to Ireland. This is quote by Trump. Edward is the president of the Walsh Company, a very successful nationwide construction real estate firm. He is a great philanthropist in his local community and previously served as the chairman of the New Jersey Schools Development Authority Board. He is also a champion golfer, a very good asset for the ambassador of Ireland to have. Do well, Ed, end quote. Walsh goes on to say Walsh is a member of the Trump National Golf Club, winning the golf championship twice. So he is good, according to the New Jersey Globe. He was a New Jersey delegate at the 2020 Republican National Convention. So he will now go represent the president and the nation as ambassador to Ireland. So interesting. I'm not familiar with him, but I missed one of the appointments, which we'll cover in just a second, because there's another one that was made as well, which I'm more familiar with. But let's look at Devin Nunes leading the advisory board. This is an article that is by, I think, just staff. I don't see a name attached. President-elect Trump on Saturday named loyalist Devin Nunes, who has his media platform, Truth Social, to serve as the chair of a White House Intelligence Advisory Board. Nunes is a Republican former representative from California who led the U.S. House Intelligence Committee during the start of Trump's first presidential term. He is accused by the Federal Bureau of Investigation of abusing its powers to spy on a Trump election official, campaign official who had extensive Russian contacts. Trump said in his post that Nunes will remain the chief executive of Truth Social. It's a question I had, that he will remain that while leading the advisory panel. Quote, Devin will draw on his experience as a former chairman of the House Intelligence Committee and his key role in exposing Russia hoax to provide me with independent assessments of the effectiveness and propriety of the U.S. intelligence community's activities, end quote, Trump said in a statement. The President's Intelligence Advisory Board, PIAB, recreated in the mid-20th century, exists to provide an independent source of advice on the effectiveness of the intelligence community's data and its data acquisition. It's a very important thing if we think about it. That, we're talking about the work of spies even, and what listening in, and what kind of information are we getting about that. See here. I see Michael says it's gotten out of the. I've gotten a kick out of the left saying Trump ran the board on him. Van Jones was telling them Trump was smarter than all of them. Well, it's true. Even Mitt Romney admitted they got whipped. They sure did. They got their tails whipped. All right, let's look at Troy Edgar, DHS Deputy Secretary. He is an IBM executive, and he will serve as Deputy Secretary of Homeland Security. Quote, Troy served for me previously as the Chief Financial Officer, CFO, and Associate Deputy Under Secretary of Management for Homeland Security, where he did an outstanding job managing their $90 billion budget, resourcing critical immigration policy and funding wall construction, Truth wrote on Truth Social. Quote, Troy is currently an executive at IBM. He holds a MBA and BS of Business Administration from the University of Southern California. He was previously the mayor of Los Alamitos, California, where he helped me to lead the city and county revolt against sanctuary cities in 2018. I'm very excited to have Troy on our team, as he will help us make America great again, exclamation mark, end quote. Edgar, a Navy veteran, as Chief Financial Officer for DHS, managed a $9 billion budget and oversaw a financial division spanning program and cost analysis, budget, financial and risk management, financial operations, policy, transformation, government accountability office, and Office of Inspector General Liaison and Workforce Development. That's a mouthful. This is a smart dude. So a lot smarter than me, but yeah, he's going to be doing that. Bill Watt is the Belgium ambassador. He is a prominent business person and political donor, and this happens a lot. You give these ambassadorships and things out to people who have been a help to you and a supporter. But you want them to do a good job, obviously, while they're there. Sometimes this is blowed up on certain presidents, but usually it works out well. He's to serve as ambassador to Belgium, marking a high-profile appointment in his administration's diplomatic lineup. Watt is the founder and CEO of Constellations Group, a Manhattan-based consulting firm. He previously served as president of the Intrepid Sea Air Space Museum in New York. Over the years, he has earned high praise and recognition for his extensive fundraising efforts, which have raised more than $1.5 billion for military veterans and service members affected by catastrophic injuries. I did not know that, and that's nice. Quote, Bill has worked tirelessly to support great American patriots who have given everything for our country, Trump, end quote. Trump stated on Truth Social. Quote, he is a twice recipient of the Meritorious Public Service Award for extraordinary service from the U.S. Coast Guard and for outstanding support from the U.S. Navy, end quote. He's a strong supporter of President Trump and a donor on his most recent presidential campaign. He has received bipartisan support for the nomination, so it seems like a slam dunk. This guy will go. They won't argue over this one. And so we'll see, He said that on Sunday, former New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo tweeted in support, noting that White has been a tremendous advocate for our nation's military, veterans, and first responder families, end quote. So that should be a slam dunk. Most of the time, you don't hear too much about ambassadors not being. Usually, they get appointed, they go. So, but that's interesting. Belgium, not one of the majors, but still, you need those folks out there as well. So we're starting to see some of these appointments, and Rand Paul has an article or a quote on Newsmax as well about Nome, and he says confirming Nome is the first order of business, end quote. While he breaks, this is from Eric Mack as well, while he breaks from the incoming Trump administration on a talk of using the National Guard for mass deportation, Senator Rand Paul, Republican Kentucky, incoming chair of the Senate Homeland Security Committee, is going to help push South Dakota GOP Governor Kristi Noem through as DHS Secretary. Quote, my first order of business will be getting her confirmed. And I plan on trying to do that either the day of the inauguration or that week, end quote. Paul was on WABC 77 FM in New York for the Sunday, the Cats Roundtable. That's where he has said that. So we'll see. So he said that's the first order of business. He wants to get that done. I didn't know you could do it that fast. I really didn't know that you could do it that fast. I need to look into that more. That's something that I don't know. If somebody knows, I'd appreciate you saying. I really don't know how quickly. I didn't know you could do it same day. I did on some of them. Some of them won't be same day. Certainly Pete Hegseth. I don't think that'll be one day. But, I mean, you can't hold them up forever. But I was wondering how long that would go. Michael, one group of liberals said Abbott and DeSantis tossing the illegals to the blue cities was a brilliant idea because it opened up the citizens' eyes. There is a lot of truth in that. You know, it's you know, when the problem is your pain, it's no pain for them. You make it a pain point for them, then that gets action. So there's some truth in that, I would say. I think it was a brilliant move, to say the least. Let's see here. President Trump's library. You got to love this. You may have heard about it. Quote, the headline, ABC to pay $15 million to Trump Library to settle the lawsuit. This is a staff report, but they said that, of course, this was over comments that anchor George Stephanopoulos made on the air involving the civil case against Trump by writer E. Jean Carroll, a court document filed on Saturday showed. What he said is he openly said that President Trump raped her, and then that got put out there. It got picked up and sort of went around the nation. It was widely reported, repeated, and on third parties. So it did a lot of damage. And he said that he was found liable for rape and asked her how she could endorse the candidate to Representative Nancy Mace. So ABC covering their tails, $15 million to the President Trump Library. You know, that's a great thing. If you ever get a chance, and I want to start doing. Yeah, he did say that a bunch of times. He sure did. They like to throw them little daggers out there and then try to clean it up later. Well, of course, it ain't coming out of his pocket, but it does hurt. It is a bad look for him. But a friend of mine that I've worked with for several years, he has made it a point to go visit as many of the presidential libraries as he can. And he has visited a number of them. I think I would like to do that. The problem is that most of the libraries are in California or up north. There are obviously the President Carter's library is in Atlanta, and that would be the first one I would start with. But I would like to do some of that. Of course, the one I would really like to go to is President Reagan's, and obviously that's in California. So, each president does that. It's not every president, but starting with, who was it? Roosevelt, maybe somewhere in there. They started building these libraries. So we'll see. I just like the fact that, I just think it'd be interesting. That's not to say that everything in there is going to be, they're going to fill it with their stuff, but there's a lot of documents, first source documents and stuff that you can see. Yeah, it is pocket change for ABC, but it's still a slap at them. And you have to kind of like that happened to them. It's like, take that, ABC, because everybody gets to talk about that. But So yeah, let's see. President Trump hasn't actually built the library yet. I didn't know. That's what I was looking up. It is right now. It's an online library which houses documents and stuff, but it is temporary until they build the presidential Trump library. The future of the library is not entirely clear following the re-election, although it's expected more concrete plans. This is from Wikipedia, by the way, for the library will begin towards the end of his second term. So you want to kind of be out of office, and so he was already supposed to be back in there, right? So they didn't build the library. Usually that happens afterwards, and it's sometimes it's where do they build it? Sometimes they build it in their hometown. And in Obama's case, there was a lot of questions about that. Is it going to be Chicago? Is it going to be Hawaii? There was a lot of talk about that. But I was going to say, I don't even know where it's at. I'd like to go visit, but I guess I'll go visit online. I have not done that, but I will. So, yeah, I mean, good for them. And of course, it would have been a lot more. I mean, you take the 15, and yeah, somebody will pay the bill. But it was damaging, and I'm glad. Another appointment here. Trump appoints longtime foreign policy advisor Richard Grenell. Follow him on Truth. I follow him on Truth. I follow him on X. He tweets a lot, interesting stuff too. To serve as special missions envoy. This is another staff article. President-elect Donald Trump announced Saturday that he's picked longtime foreign policy advisor Richard Grenell to serve as an envoy for special missions, tasking him with helping the incoming administration deal with some of the toughest foreign policy challenges. And there are a number of them out there. Grenell served as ambassador to Germany during Trump's first administration, special presidential envoy for Serbia and Kosovo peace negotiations, and did a stint as acting director of national intelligence. Rick will work in some of the hottest spots around the world, including Venezuela and North Korea. That was a quote from Trump. Trump said in a posting on his social media platform, Truth Social, announcing the appointment. Grenell, during Trump's first term, developed a reputation for employing a sometimes contentious approach. That's what they say when you don't agree, you're contentious. To diplomacy that rankled the foreign policy establishment in Washington. Who cares? But his style was appreciated by the president-elect, who sees value in blunt talks with allies. And I tend to be there. Yeah, there's a time to have the little flowery talks, but there's also times to just be very blunt and say, this is what's going to happen. Grenell remained close to Trump after he left office in 2021, serving at times as a key advisor on foreign policy. He was in the room when Trump met with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky in September. Grenell has advocated for a peace deal that would preserve Ukraine's territory while still allowing for autonomous regions where Russia could remain in control. He's also advised against expanding NATO to include Ukraine. There's a lot of people talking about this now, that it's just not wise to do that. Why do it? Ukraine will be left alone if they don't join NATO. And just get this thing settled. And if you do that, you're really pushing for war. Saying, as Trump has, that the alliance shouldn't grow until current members meet the alliance's defense spending targets. Well, they ain't going to do that. Members of the Transatlantic Alliance have committed for years to spending 2% of their GDP on defense, but several countries still fall short of the target. So he was an early supporter of Trump's 2024 campaign and held multiple events for the Republican nominee focused on economics and national security. So anyway, that's another appointment. He's much more well known than some of the others, at least by me. And there's a number of other things there they talk about him. He's got a list of stuff that he's been involved with. I want to get to this article. KT McFarland has said to Newsmax, Europe gets less than an Irish embassy closure. I just think this is interesting. It's not real long, but I do want to. This is by Sandy Fitzgerald. This was released today. Israel's decision to close its embassy in Ireland should serve as a lesson to other European countries who have gotten even more anti-Israel after the October 7th, 2023 Hamas attacks. KT McFarlane, a former deputy national security advisor during President-elect Donald Trump's first administration, said on Newsmax Sunday, quote, the European countries have always been anti-Semitic, anti-Israel, and especially in recent months and years. End quote. McFarland told Newsmax's Sunday Agenda. Quote, I think it's a lesson to not just to Ireland, but to the other European countries, end quote. And considering Trump is taking office in January, the Europeans are going in the wrong direction on Israel, as he's a pro-Israel guy, McFarland said. She added the Europeans made a, quote, huge mistake, end quote, by allowing in illegal immigrants from the Middle East who did not mesh with their culture. Quote, they didn't make them mesh with their culture, end quote. She said they didn't encourage people to adopt the culture of the countries they went into, whether it was the Netherlands, whether it was in Germany, whether it was in Britain. They said, okay, go do your own thing. We'll have multiculturalism, but it failed spectacularly. That's true. Yes, Michael, you are correct in that. Let me put that on stage there. He is. He does tell like people. He is a force. He's quite vocal. I like reading his stuff. If you've ever read his socials, and I'm sure you have, it is amazing. Hey, by the way, Michael, while you're in here, are you going to be home Wednesday as we head out to go south? Are you going to be at home? Just pop it in there if you're going to be at home. I'd love to stop either then or on our way back, but the problem coming back is I'm not sure what time. I'd like to just say hey to you, and we'll get a promo video or something recorded. Just okay. Do you mind if we stop by just for a few moments? You have to give me your address. You can send it to me, and you don't have to put that online. Just send that to me, message me or something on my phone. I know about where you live, but don't know exactly. But it wouldn't be nothing for us to do that, and I'd like to do that. So if nothing changes, Wednesday, lunchtime. My wife asked me today, what time? I said, I'm not sure. We are going to leave early, not like before daylight, which you're up early. We do have a morning show Wednesday, so we'll do the morning show, and sometime around, I'm guessing around 10-ish, I'm going to try to get gone, and so be coming your way, around 10:30-ish, somewhere in there. So just wanted to catch you while you're there. I've been meaning to give you a holler. I'd love to do that if it works out. So anyways, this is a good article. I would, go read it because of the problems they're having in these countries. I just think that's there is a lot more anti-Semitism. There's a lot more anti-national culture that's going on throughout all of Europe, and all these little countries have, including England, though, a bigger country, has suffered the fate of allowing in all these people into their country. I love your post. But yeah, message me your address. But yeah, it has been a disaster, and now Syria again, even in a more of a mess. And I know that there are some, what's been happening to Israel. Well, there's concern about the Christians in Syria now too, and is it going to be even worse for them? So we'll see. But there's another article about that somewhere I seen. I don't remember where I saw it, but I would agree, and I think that's interesting that that they talked about that. So let's see. Anything else here I wanted? There was oh yeah, Mr. Lindsey Graham, senator from South Carolina. U.S. must prevent ISIS resurgence in Syria. Well, yeah. My problem with Lindsey Graham, he's a warmonger. This is the guy that's going to stick it to Russia for years now. And I agree with him on this. But here he is, Mr. Warmonger himself. Thank you, Michael. He said, he says he disagrees with President Trump contention, President-elect Trump, Donald Trump, contention that the United States should not, quote, not get involved in Syria. He said, well, there's an American interest, a national interest that ISIS should not be allowed to take advantage of the power vacuum there. So, he has been, just got that in. He has been, antsy to get something with Russia for a long time. He's a warmonger. And that's the only thing, that I think I've ever disagreed mightily on with Mark Levine is he's kind of that way too. He back when this whole thing first started in Ukraine, I mean, he really wanted us to get involved there big time. And I understand from the Jewish perspective, and I mean he's very much that hard right, but I'm not. I was never for that. And when he was saying those things on his show, I was like, come on, man. This is let's not poke the bear, man. Let's just And I think that's the problem here. And Lindsay was out there. He was coming on Levine's show all the time talking about it. We got to get them, we got to push them back. We got to teach them Russians, a lesson, all this stuff. I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he's definitely has wanted that. So what a mess there is in the world. I mean, just a mess. Netanyahu and Trump are discussing the hostages, and I hope they can figure something out. I'm just hoping that something can be done. We know there are still some alive. And lastly, Britain announces 50 million pounds of aid to Syria. And Qatar is going to reopen its embassy in Syria on Tuesday. So we'll see where all this goes with that. I have no idea what's going to happen with that. I agree, Michael. I at one time I didn't really know. I knew he'd been there for a while, and full disclosure, I think I gave a small donation to his campaign one year. I'm almost certain I did because I was of who was running against him in the state, and I thought that let's see, I'm getting emails and stuff too. So anyway. Later on, when he started all that, the Russia talk and stuff, I was like, I don't like this guy. I mean, we want to hold on to South Carolina, but my goodness, this guy is, he talks some dangerous stuff. He really does. And, there's a lot of talk about him I won't get into, but yeah, he's a warmonger, man. I mean, and there are times we have to go to war, but let's not be going out looking for it. So we'll see. I don't know, man. This guy, he kind of worries me. Back to the video. Of course, I know that Mr. Levine is on his Sunday night program. And this is his quote. You can watch the video on Fox, 19 minutes long. But Biden is trying to screw Trump's incoming administration. Sure he is. I like Mr. Levine, though. I do. I miss the great Rush Limbaugh. Don't you miss Rush? Man, I miss Rush. There's a lot of good ones out there. I like Bongino, and I like Mark Levine, and I mean, there's many of them. I'm just picking a couple out. There's some really good ones, Charlie Kirk, and all these different ones. But man, they all pale in comparison to Rush. He was just so good at what he did. His comedy that he threw into it. When he had his TV program, I loved it. Because you know what? If now you could still have the camera that was in studio, but when he had the TV program, his facial expressions just cracked me up. It was he was a great showman, but he was right so many times. And he would come on early in the morning, and he would, I like Glenn Beck too. And he would come on, and he'd have those little 2-minute bites with a commercial on the morning news talk. And it used to drive back in the day. One of I won't say his name, but one of the guys who was on the news talk channel here in town, he could be very conservative, but he also could be very liberal. And I don't think he liked Rush too much, but Rush would come in and he'd have a quote about something, and it would just drive that guy crazy. He was living in his head rent free, and he would have comments about it because they came on at 6 every morning, and I think the news bite came on like right before or right even as they started, because they'd always have 6 or 7 minutes of commercials to start the show. And I think that was right in that time frame. It might have been right at 6, and it used to drive him crazy. I loved it. Rush, a modern day Paul Harvey. Yeah, absolutely great storyteller. Even when your enemies even give you the respect of watching you every day because they know you're going to say something they want to grab onto. And I know they do a lot of them like that, but no way to the level that they did Rush. And Rush was, there wasn't really a whole lot out there besides Rush. Small localized content, certainly New York and bigger markets, you'd have news talk or those kind of shows, news talk and commentary and all that, conservative talk. But there was nobody that matched his level. Those guys started coming along. Rush is the one that paved the way. And there were those people, like you mentioned, the Paul Harveys and stuff, that he grew up with, and he loved baseball and loved to announce baseball and stuff. He was a great sports guy. But there was nobody like Rush. And he paved the way for, even people like me. I mean, he's paved the way for me to have a show like this. And, that was never thought of back in the day. He saw all that. I used to love, and I was always going to get one of his hats. And I hadn't done it. It's probably still on the website. But, back when in the last few years before he died, there was all this talk about shutting down Gitmo. And he used to have these great hats that he had on his website about Gitmo. I used to I'd laugh just going on his website and looking at them. I kept thinking, I'm going to order one of those. And then I didn't do it, but I should have. But, Club Gitmo, he would call it, like, we need a Gitmo. We need to keep it. We tell the Cubans and the Russians and everybody else, that's our property. Hands off. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, we don't. You remember they were going to bring all the terrorists in the side of the United States? Oh, what a stupid idea that was. It's like, we're going to bring everybody Gitmo to America. What community in America is going to want that facility near them? You think the monkey facility in South Georgia is getting a lot of resistance? Try to build a facility that's going to have the leaders of the terror groups that you've captured inside their walls. Nobody wants that in their community. Come on. That's why I said Gitmo, and that's where it needs to stay. And we don't need to close down Gitmo either. Tough. I'm very emphatic about that. Very, very emphatic. You can just forget that. Liberals are always ready to give up and walk away. That's what they told Israel. Oh, give up Gaza. Give up Gaza. Give up the land. They'll leave you alone. And they were stupid enough to believe it. I'm sorry. I love them, but they're stupid enough to believe it. Force those Jews off their land and close down those synagogues and turn it over to terror groups. All they did was move the terror closer to their cities. And those people were on the front lines out there. I mean, they were small communities, but they were a buffer zone against this crap. It was a stupid idea. I was so mad when all that happened. Can you see it now? Let's move the border closer in. Let's give some land back to Mexico. There's people that say that. Let's give some land back to Mexico. We'll create a buffer zone, and it's their land. Let's give it back to them. No, it's not. We own it. We're not giving back jack. These people are always ready to lay down and appease and give back. You lost it. You lost in war. And just tough. You're not getting it back. That's just the way it is. American flag. When the American flag gets put in a land, when the American flag goes up, that's American property. When American soldiers have spilled American blood and died for something, you're not giving it back. That's my stand on it. So, oh, hey, Celtic Blacksmith. Let's see. I've been trying to figure it out, but I don't understand the hatred of Jewish people. I never even witnessed it in real life until October 7th attack, aka cowardly sucker punch. Yes. Well, there's a lot of tentacles to that. Some of it is spiritual, but there is that hatred, brother. I mean, it is, and I would just say that in my area, I haven't seen it a lot. I have seen it a little bit, but obviously in Atlanta, there has been some, and being and doing ministry and things in Atlanta, you see a lot of stuff like that. That's went on, and it's not on a scale like it is in like France or, in those areas, but yeah, there is. And if you go all the way back to the British Mandate when Britain held the land, and nobody was happy. The British had their hands; they were ready to wash their hands of the whole deal. It was a tough situation to be in. And I'm not saying they handled it right, because I don't think they did. And they wanted to create the Jewish homeland and the Palestinian homeland, and the Palestinians, the Arab countries wouldn't agree; they wouldn't even vote. And Israel, they voted to reestablish the nation of Israel on that land. And from that point forward, it has been worse. Of course, it goes back through the ages. Jews have been expelled from many lands. There's many famous ones the big expulsion of Jews from Spain, and there's been collapses of there's the old thing that Jews control the world. They control the banks, they control the money. And so, like in Argentina, when the economy collapsed, the Jews got blamed there, and a lot of Jews left and went to Israel. Ethiopian Jews were they were forcing crosses to be carved into their tattoo. I say carved in. They say you can say tattoo, but I think it's more like, carving in on their forehead to show their allegiance. Israel stripped out the seats out of 747s and run. I think it was called Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob airlift, and maybe even a Moses one, but they flew in and got these thousands of Ethiopian Jews out. But the source of it is Satan and the devil. But I mean, it's just ridiculous, and you hear it. And again, a lot of people don't like things that Israel does. And I think there's some Jews are attacked because of what Israel does, and a lot of Jews will say, "Look, I don't support what they do. I don't even like what they do." There's Jews all over the spectrum. Many don't. I mean, there are Zionist. I forget what they call themselves. I used to know their name. They march. There's a couple. There's a lot of them in America, and they march against Israel. They don't believe Israel should be on the land either. They think it's a desecration. They shouldn't even be there. But you get all these different kind of groups. But I appreciate your sentiments there. And it is hard to understand all this sometimes. It's kind of like, it's embedded in, and they fought so much in many ways. There's the old joke about the wandering Jew. The Jews were dispersed and they went to the four corners of the earth, and that was their punishment. They were to wander for the rest of their lives. And, it is pretty miraculous that, it's obviously a little before I was born, quite a bit before. But within May 14th, 1948, that we have seen the reestablishment of the nation of Israel. And what a powerful nation that is, being so tiny. I think it's about the size of Rhode Island. And, one of the strongest militaries. They do have nuclear weapons, although they won't admit to it. But yeah, that was a cheap sucker punch. And Israel, they got enemies, that's for sure. But it is sad that in America, the melting pot, that they get attacked so much. And it is, I've always said, because there has been this great exodus of Jews from Russia when the wall fell there, all these Jews that went back to Israel. In fact, when Ariel Sharon was the prime minister of Israel, he called for all the Jews to leave France. The anti-Semitism is off the scale in France. Of course, there's a rising Muslim population there, and it's gotten ugly. I'm not saying that everybody does that, but there's enough of them. And then, like I said, Argentina, there were other places where a lot of Jews left. And so you have about as many inside the land that are outside the land, and most of those would be in the United States. And I've always said, what's going to happen here to make those Jews want to go home? Because it's obviously going to happen someday. And but yeah, it's sad. It really, really is sad. When you see those things, just like it was when African Americans were being attacked and churches blown up. We've got some ugly history on stuff like that. And, just right there in Atlanta, the temple, the synagogue, the temple, very old, goes back to the 1800s. It was, bombed in, I think that was 1958 by a guy that lived in the city next, not far from me, Chattanooga. And so some good on homegrown terrorism there, so it's sad. Or we could say if the Amish are attacked, or the Mennonites, or this is America, land of free. We shouldn't be seeing that crap. But you just don't have a right to to treat people like that. And that is disgusting. It really, really is. But I hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a great Sunday there. By the way, Celtic Blacksmith, if you're still listening, I went back and watched another video, and I watched the one about building the Stephen Crowder's my favorite. He's pretty amazing. The business card holder. And, I was thinking that, I don't know if you even want to build another one, because you said building that one kind of kicked your tail. But if you build another like that, If you can reach my price point, which is probably, I'm sure is available to meet, you're not way out there. But if you could, I'd love to have one of those, man. I'll just go ahead and tell you, we could work out a price. So that was cool though. I enjoyed that, watching that. I thought that was cool. I'd love to have it on my desk at work or in the new studio, probably new studio. I'm putting everything in the new studio. It's going to be the repository for different things. So anyway, I enjoyed watching the video. It was pretty cool. So go watch Half Pine Forge on the Rumble channel. Rumble. Let's get ready to rumble. And watch him make stuff, beat up stuff. It's fun to go watch. By the way, I saw something the other day. It was the coolest thing. Sorry, my brain works that way. It just spastic. It goes every which way. Have you seen the school bus derby thing where they like crash into each other, the school buses? That's cool. And there's also another one, and it's trucks pulling campers. Man, that is cool. I would pay to go see something like that. I don't know if you've seen that, but the buses, the way they were fixed, they get these old buses that are taken out of service. Is the racetrack? It's not around. It goes in a figure eight, and they have to cross. So there's school buses that are crossing, and they hit each other. It is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I'm all into that. Oh, let's see. I just noticed I wasn't caught up in the live till now. I was wondering why my chats weren't being read. Oh, yeah, some sort of delay there, man. I don't know, but we're glad you're here. Michael says, strange fact is that most of the supposedly called leaders and the deep state people are Catholic, and they have let everything happen. True. You know, people need to follow their faith more, right? I mean, you know, be good to all men, you know. We've created a mess out there, you know. A preacher in my church, I've been having him preach either Sunday morning or Sunday night. Just one, I need to be preached to, and it gives me a break, and he needs to preach. But he was saying tonight, I don't know when in this nation we got to where we couldn't just disagree about stuff and it be okay. And he gave examples, you know, of a couple of small things. I mean, it's okay to disagree. We don't all agree on everything. But nowadays, to disagree, it goes to, you know, like full-on war. Like, oh, I can't believe you said that. You know, I say it's green, you say it's blue, you know, let's fight. That's not the way it is. Everybody's on the edge, ready to you know, get ready to put on the gloves. Go, as a lady I work with says, go to the yard. Don't want to mess up the house furniture. Go to the yard. Let's go to the yard. That's where everybody's ready to go. let's just go out for the fight. I don't know, man. Oh my goodness. You know, people so ready. And then you meet people, they're just such a solid, you know, individuals and stuff. I met a couple Saturday night, and they were just salt of the earth people, and were apologizing. They parked in the wrong area, and I had to remind them, and I was cutting up with them and everything. And they even use words like sir. And I was like, man, you know, sometimes you don't hear all that. You know, I've heard it all, you know, because I do work some security on Saturday still. And I've heard it all from rent-a-cop. I don't know that you think that bothers me. Like, I don't care. But this just shows your intelligence. I've heard people mouth that. You ain't nothing but a rent-a-cop. Well, yeah. Or what are you going to do about it? I love that one. What are you going to do about it? Me? I ain't going to do nothing. And they said, well, then why do you think I have to listen? I said, because I'm here to warn you that if you don't, I'm going to turn it over to the people who will make you do it. They said, oh, I guess you're talking about the police. I said, well, that's what they're paid for. I mean, if you're not going to comply, we turn it over to them, and they bring a whole lot more than me. They're fit. They work out. They lift weights. they bring the fire. They bring the thunder. And you know, you got a choice. You can either move along or face the thunder, you know, so they usually move along. So oh, it's fun. But I hope you've had a good Sunday, and enjoyed you being on Friday night. We'll have to do it again. I was just really enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun, and those stories and stuff. And I was thinking about that place you were talking about that was up there. That was, you know, family in the day, and then at night they all move in. You know, I don't know why that crossed my mind today, but I think I heard something about Ohio or something, and maybe a concert or something. And I thought about what you said. So that was pretty cool, though. I like hearing about stuff like that. I don't think it's Ohio. Where's that place at where the cops come in and told this group to shut down? Like they play on it's at a recreation area. It's got water there, and the ones that have their nose in the air, they come and shut them down. They had approval to be there. Said they were too loud. It's rock and roll. What do you expect? I mean, oh my goodness! Way back in the 70s, me and my dad, mom's. I think my sister was alive then. I'm pretty sure she was. We went and stayed on the lake. One of my sisters. We went and camped out, and some rich folk up there had Charlie Daniels and his band in. I don't know how far away they were, but it sounded like I was on the front row. And this is around the time that The Devil Went Down to Georgia was really a big hit. And I didn't see him. Like I was talking about being 3 or 4 blocks away from Arena and hearing it. I heard every song. I mean, I heard the concert. Everybody on the lake did. It just echoed down that lake. I mean, it really gave it a great sound. It was pretty cool. So that's a lot of fun memory, and I'm sure there were people like that. I wish they'd shut up. You're being too loud. Oh, well, everybody's wanting to shut down fun. Can't have fun anymore. Let's see what else we can pull up here on a couple of more news items I wanted to get to before I get off here tonight. Thanks, Michael. Thanks for everybody being here. And we need to start. You need to start bringing me Mark Levine's quotes. He's always got a good quote. Let's see here. I don't think they were. I thought I looked. I don't think there was. I'll tell you what, Liz, let's look at the other side. Errol Smith, take me to the other side. Let's see, CNN. Let's see here. Oh, CNN's lead article about Pete Hegseth, from Army Major to running the U.S. military. That's right. Pete Hegseth, President-elect Donald Trump's pick to be U.S. Secretary of Defense, has an unconventional resume for the position. Remember when they said Trump didn't have the qualifications, he wasn't a politician? Everybody said, that's why we elected him. He wasn't a politician. Well, bless your heart. Well, the good thing is it's recorded. I thank you for being here. Senator Lindsey Graham says Hegseth has pledged to release accuser from confidentiality agreement. Analysis: Trump dares Republicans to challenge his playbook on RFK Jr., Gabbard, and Patel. Another headline there. Mitt Romney predicts next GOP presidential nominee. That's a video. I'm not going to pull that up. But these are all headlines on CNN. Don't mind seeing. That's where they're at. CNN exclusive. Romney stands by Trump criticism, but says MAGA is now the Republican Party. You think? Why does anybody listen to Mitt Romney? I mean, seriously, does anybody really care what Mitt Romney has to say? Why? The only reason the left even gives us this guy the time of day is because he has been a traitor to the Republican Party. That's the only reason they listen to him. And the Republicans don't have any use for him because he won't stand with them on anything. So yeah, let's see what Celtic. Okay, now that I believe I'm mostly caught up, I laugh out loud. I've actually made 4 business card holders. I make them for my own cards to be displayed at other people's businesses on their counters, which is a great idea, my man. Great idea. Let me work out some tooling for those so I can make some more, and I'll figure out a price. Those are actually pretty popular. Yeah, that should be in the store, brother. I was thinking that. They look good. They're definitely going to hold business cards and do it well. So yeah, man, I'll buy one. Let me just say it. Yeah, it's not a maybe. I hate when people do that. If you do this, I might buy one. Just put it on as long as I'm alive. I can leave it my will in case I'm not. They read the will. I know he said one last item. This was added in late. A codicil to the will. Buy the business card holder from Half Pine Forge. Or buy 10 of them and give them out to your friends for Christmas or something. I don't know. But appreciate it, man. I really enjoyed that. I for a minute there, I was trying to think how you were going to do it. I know it was all in your head where it was going to go. But there was a couple of times there I was like, I don't see. I think did you mess up once? I mean, that we all do, because you was like, I had to make some adjustments there. but I got kind of lost in that. And then all of a sudden it just turned out. Also, those business card holders, I 100% my own design that I figured out using a paperclip to conceptualize it. Awesome, man. Yeah, man, that's cool. I wondered about that. I'm glad you said that, because I actually wondered about it when you were saying that, or when I was watching the video, and because some of the stuff you've given credit to, that you watched someone, that they got it from someone, and these kinds of things go on. Everybody kind of gets the idea of some things. Musicians do this all the time, and you bring in an idea, and you say, well, I got this from another guy, and here's my version of it, or this is where I got the idea. But that's cool. That was your deal, man. So there it is, Half Pine Forge, and give them a look see. And I still got to order that skull pendant as well. And honestly, that's the spooky candle holder. Dude, around Halloween, that could be popular, man. I call it the cryptid. They call it a cryptid or something, man. You get into the cryptid community, you'd stay busy. We can help you. We can help you with that. We're going to keep pushing cryptids. We're going to have that. I enjoyed the discussion. It's fun, and I noticed that Backwoods Cryptids had on a Merry Christmas to their listeners. And they've also mentioned some other hunter, and I'm going to try to watch that video maybe tonight before I go to bed. I don't know. It's getting a little later, but it might have to be tomorrow. But we definitely going to do some of that here. I have fun with it. I enjoy it. But that was cool. And it looked really cool when you got done there and had the candle on it and everything. That was cool. I like that. So you got some cool ideas, man. You guys, you will laugh. I don't even know. This is funny. I've got to show you this, Steve. Last night I got really bored. I was just, and I was playing around with AI. Oh my gosh, what did I do with it? Let me see. And so I said, I was just messing, and I said, what if we had a 50-something-year-old, and you were the template for it, and I put in long hair, blacksmith, and I was wondering what that would look like, what AI would think it would look like. And I got 3 different versions. I think I saved 2 of them. I still have, this is one of them. Let me see if I can get this on here, if you can see it. There's one of them, long hair. He's not 50 something. He got the age wrong, but he is a little older, but he's swinging. They got his, the anvil there, and he's swinging it. So there was another one on the, so I actually had the AI produce the blacksmith, but on his, and I had one out the shirt. I will show you that in a second. And I had one that had no shirt, but had apron on. And on the apron, it had SFP for Southern Fried Podcast across the apron. And I was showing it to Rob, and Rob says, no, it should be SFB, Southern Fried Blacksmith. So I put it back in there one more time. And here is the AI generated. Steve is the thought behind this. Here he is. We've been talking about hair down, shirt off, and I put him a tattoo, the Southern Fried Blacksmith. Here it is. I had too much fun with that. And like I said, I had cryptids sitting with Rob on the porch and all kinds of stuff. It was funny. Let's see. Steve said, I never make money on those spooky candle holders. I'd have to charge out the notes for them. Yeah, there's a lot to that, I know. But it was fun. Well, you could do a special for a friend. I'd buy one from you. Let's see here. What else? Wow, AI made me look good. I saw the one you sent me. Oh, yeah, I did send you one. I forgot that. But I don't feel family dinner going, so I was ignoring my phone. No, that's cool, man. I said I think I sent you the one that had the SFP. And I said, I was just having some fun. I'll do one for you, Michael. Well, I got to figure out what we would say. Some of them didn't turn out. AI gets kind of squirrely sometimes, gets kind of weird. But man, I had so many. I'll show you another one. I had, and we're going to redo this picture with me, him, and Cook. And it's cryptids in a cornfield. And I tied in the green eyes. We have the green eyes right here. So this is what AI came up with for that. So there's the cryptids among the corn. So Rob says when spring comes, we're going to do that picture. And I did a couple of, I did actually have been working on some logos and stuff. And we have a new logo that I did use some AI on, and I liked it. And I think I'm going to use it. So, having some fun, but sometimes the AI gets sideways. I mean, the words didn't come out right. It doesn't pick up on the phrases right. And, it took me forever. I was trying to do one with just me and Rob, an American flag on a billboard. I finally got one. It wasn't my favorite one because they kept messing up Southern Fried. It's like, it was like, what? AI wasn't smart enough to figure that out. It was actually put into some sort of Greek lettering or something. Like, I didn't tell you to say that. I thought I was being clear. Maybe I don't understand redneck. I don't know. But I did a number of them. I did one for the Cornbread Nation. I'll show you one more. And I've got one that I really like, but some I did, they weren't AI, but this was AI. I just added in the Cornbread Nation. It's a tractor out pulling the cornbread around. So you see the mountains in the background and the Cornbread Nation. I had that one too. So some of them come out. They were pretty cool, but I'd never really messed around with AI too much. And, I felt like kind of dirty about it. Like, I don't know if I should be doing this, the AI going to take over, but it was kind of fun, so it's a tool, it doesn't always work. It's not what they say it is, trust me, it has a lot of things that fail, but occasionally it did do you good, Steve. I was saying, I think I put long haired blacksmith. I forget what I had several little points I put in there, shirt off, swinging his hammer, I can't remember. I told AI to make Donald Trump surfing on a leftist tears wave, and it kept making the spelling worse and worse every time. And that's what I was running into. What's going on with the wording? I mean, I don't understand that. The picture would come out great. I had some that were pretty amazing, and I don't get why they come out so bad when you put the phrasing in there. I just don't understand that. So if you ever get a chance to do that, I did come up with this one, and I kind of like it. It's Rob and Dave on the billboard, and nice sign there. I like that. We'll probably keep that one around. It did do me a good solid on Mama Said. And I do like that cryptid one. That one was kind of cool. And I have to say, I like the one it did for the blacksmith. They were pretty cool. Michael's next. We'll have to make one for Michael. Oh my goodness. You know what? It's fun to laugh and have some fun. And I got into it too much, I guess. I said it went from leftist tears to leftist tears to larfy teeth. So that's what I was seeing, man. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I thought, am I doing something wrong here? And and what's funny about it is here I am, I'm by myself. I'm using this AI and I'm talking to it. I'm like, that's not what I told you to do. What is your problem? What is your major malfunction? This is not what I said. I mean, can you not put Southern Fried Podcast? I mean, it was coming up with like Southoon, Freed. It was putting Freed, Freed instead of Fried. And then for podcast, it was doing like Lodcast and all this stuff. I'm like, what? I'm topping it in. Why can't you see that? I mean, it was just funny. I imagine there's millions of us have sat around and done that. But occasionally it would spit something out and I'd go, that's it. Like that. That's kind of what I'm looking for. That's good, So it was kind of fun. I did create some logos, not with AI. That one of them we're going to be debuting this week is for the morning show, and I really did like how it turned out. But I'm using Adobe for that. But just having some fun and trying to be creative at the same time. The problem is when I'm being creative, if I get frustrated, like it's not going the way I want, then I go kind of all kid and I start thinking up crazy ideas, and then I get comical and I get way away from what I was supposed to be doing, and I have to go back to it. And so if you put the actual work in that I got done, it's probably about 15 or 20 minutes, but I spent 2 hours and it turned into, one of them I had was, I hope I didn't delete that. And I didn't have a picture of Rob to throw in there. So I put, you're going to laugh. Rob's not here. I said a mid-50s man with no hair, wearing a hat. And I did have it say Bulldogs once. It actually, it's a funny thing. It would get the Georgia Bulldogs right. I may have already taken it out of here. I hope I did. I think I saved one of them. But I was doing things with him on the front porch with these cryptids, and I may not have it. I think I got rid of it. But anyway, they were quite humorous. Let me look back in the program. I may actually still have some of them in there saved because I wanted to show you one of those anyway. They were. I laughed so hard. One of them had the cryptid, the Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever, was sitting in Rob's lap, and that one cracked me up. And I had him holding cornbread, eating cornbread. That's what was so funny. Let's see if here I can find. No, that's not it. The hard part is just finding my stuff. My stuff. Well, that's a good place to find it. Let's see if I can find that. Oh, this is one that I had for you as well, Steve. But I came back, and this was before I did the tattoo. That was Steve before I did the tattoo. This was my idea, and he didn't have the hammer in his hand either. You got to have the hammer. Let's see here if I can find that one. There's a number of them. Here we go. This is supposed to be. Oh my gosh! I accidentally pulled that up, but I didn't mean to do that. This is supposed to be Rob, and again, I was just. It's not Rob. It doesn't look like Rob, but. And I think I deleted the rest of them. But to give you an idea of how crazy that it goes, like I did Bigfoot. AI did not understand a mid-50s guy sitting in a rocker on his porch with Bigfoot. This is what AI gave me. A mid-50s guy sitting on the porch with a Bigfoot. Oh my gosh, I'm like, are you stupid or something? That's not what I said. Well, you said Bigfoot. And I tried to do one with the fist raised for Trump on the side of a plane. That didn't work out either. It wasn't the sky, but it put the fist coming out of the wing. Oh, let me pull up this one more. I was going to show you the one with Rob because I deleted some of them. But I wanted Rob to have his friends, the cryptids, around. And this is what I get. So here's supposed to be a representative of a 50s guy, 50 age guy with no hair, lounging on the porch with his cryptid. So. Oh, those are funny. Let's see. I tried making Grok make artwork for me earlier on a video for. If this was cast from Mount Olympus as a baby, pretty sure I'm on a watch list of some sort now. Oh, yeah. That's hilarious. People are saying, I tuned in for news and I'm getting AI and cryptids. Hey, you know what? We like to keep ourselves entertained as well. Oh, I will come back full circle. You know, being a preacher, you run the rabbit. So I'll run the rabbit and then I'll come back. And so some of those are in the beginning, and then I got kind of crazy. Then I brought it home, and I actually got a couple that I could really use, and gave me great ideas for some artwork for the shows. And then but I was also making some legit logos, not using AI, just some other templates and stuff, and move some things around. And I got something I like. And I actually put one of them out there with some Christmas music online, and it was quite well received. So I think it was good, and they like the music too. So it's fun, and that's the thing. You got to have some fun in what you do, because creating is not, it's work. It's fun work, but it's work, and there's so much that goes on when we're not on the air. I mean, it's like, it's the battle. And I know Steve goes through this. Okay, I've got to work my job. I've got to get some things done around the house. I've got to get a new video out, but then if to do a video, I've actually got to create something. What am I going to create? You get distractions that are occurring that you didn't plan on happening. There's always distractions. Go to try to record, folks, and you'll have all kinds of distractions. And then you got to do your editing, and then you got to send all this stuff out to everything. And in the meantime, you're trying to get, you're trying to work your streams. You're trying to, answer messages, emails and stuff that come in, set up interviews. I'm not complaining. It's a lot of fun, but it is time consuming. And so sometimes in that craziness, my mind just goes and it does its own thing to have some fun and it's crazy, but it brings sanity back to me. Like I'm just having fun. So it's fun. Hey, Roy, how are you doing, my friend? Let's see here. He said, let's go help ask questions, everything. Absolutely. And Steve says, imagine Grok Sprouse when I came along asking to show me images of a baby being thrown up a mountain. He kept asking me if I wanted a safety net drawn under. Steve says, my current distraction is backed up flooding in my basement. Oh, Lord. Exactly. Yeah, like you're trying to, I need to record. I got to get stuff done. But wait a minute, I've got a flood going on. I'm getting it's like a college student getting the cleanest, dirtiest clothes to put on. So I know, man. I know. It's everybody who has a business or is trying to build something, do something, whatever it is, they know the pain. Sometimes you don't feel good either. You're like, I want to, but my body says you don't feel good. But my family is funny. It's sometimes I'm wondering if they're trying to get rid of me or if they're trying to encourage me. My wife asked me, I'd already been on a couple of times today. She said, are you going to be online tonight? I said, I believe so. I'm supposed to. And I said, I feel a little tired. She goes, well, if you're tired, take a break. And I said, that's not how this works. You've set up shows you want to be, occasionally we have to, or we bump them a few minutes. But if you've got something planned, you want to be dependable that way. And so yeah, it's fun. It's fun. AI is I'm going to have to be careful. I could be addictive playing with that because I come up with all these scenarios and that's just the way my mind works. And I know Steve's mind is even more so with his creativity and stuff. I can imagine the stuff he's trying to come up with. Oh my goodness. That's hilarious, man. I haven't used the Grok. I've dabbled a little bit, but this one was through Adobe and the AI there. So there's different ones out there. So I just wish AI would have a conversation with me and I could explain it. Like, you put Southern Fried Podcast, man. Can't you spell? I mean, you're AI. The whole idea of AI is that it gets better. It learns. Well, the AI I was using wasn't learning. It's like, do I need to plug in somewhere? Do I need to, put a cord there? You're not computing. You're not learning. I've told you, Southern Fried Podcast 10 times. It's not working. You're not spelling it right, you dummy. Oh, man. Talking to them phones. Oh, let's see here. Blacksmith says, I desperately need to find an affordable AI system to create short videos from text prompts. Yes, that would be great. Oh. One day, Steve, you're going to be in there. You're going to be doing the smithing, and you're going to say something like that, and all of a sudden AI is going to take over, and there's going to be these things that plug in automatically. It's going to be a live feed, and all this stuff's going to happen as you're doing it. But occasionally in that, you're going to go, wow, that's not what I asked for. You're going to say something. You're like, okay, folks, that was, you're just going to I'll have to edit that later. That's not what I asked. And by the way, what would your AI be called? Let's see here. It's the only thing stopping me from making history, myth, folklore videos. No doubt. What will your AI be called? Jim? Jim, could you help me? Or is it a girl? Come on, Susan. That's not what I asked for. Oh, for some reason, mine would probably be the ship's doctor on Star Trek. Because I think of AI as some kind of a doctor like that. Dang it, Jim. He's going to die. Your AI would be called Scatterbrain. No doubt. No doubt, man. I can see that now. And Scatterbrain will now show you a short video of whatever. Scatterbrain is going, what was that, Steve? Did you say you wanted a bologna sandwich? No, that's not what I said. Oh, yes, I remember now. Oh, man. It's a crazy world we live in, but it makes it entertaining. There's no doubt about it that it makes it entertaining. Oh my goodness, folks, we're fixing to go. Be sure to tune in the morning. I've got some again, things I need to get done before I go out. My version will be Tony Stark's assistant robotic arm that I always call dummy. Definitely. Oh, and you're going to get to the point where AI, you might not see it there, or maybe you will. Maybe it's like a holograph thing. And so it would be a double of you. It'd be your alter ego standing there. And, or you can make it anybody you want it. I mean, those are proprietary things, but you could do it like an off name of a person, like you could have, Joe Biden's image, but it being called something else. And he's standing there going, "Come on, Steve. You've been working on this piece for 20 minutes. Should have been done 10 minutes ago. Let's go." Oh, man, the fun we can have with that. Hey, folks, don't forget our live show in the morning, SFP morning show. Rob will join me again. And we'll be talking about the news of the day, drones again, I'm sure, and everything else that's going on. Give you some news, weather, sports as well, a couple of zany things, and we'll be talking about the trip that's coming up for me to go see him on Wednesday. Hopefully, we'll have a Mama Said tomorrow night with Travis Middleton, school board winner. Hopefully, he's going to come in and stay with us for a little bit. And then Wednesday morning show. Then I head south, and hopefully we'll be set up to be live in the studio. First time ever. There's a first time. If everything goes well for Wednesday night's Hump Day News. And then we'll do at least 2 more shows together, if not more. I need an assistant. Maybe I'll make one a little hardy scoop for voting for anybody. What was the one in Hal? Hal? Yeah, I can just see. I'm sorry, man. I'm tired. I get crazy. I get tired. I can just see Steve would be the little guy hunched over, comes dragging in. "Yes, master. What do you need? Some more steel?" Got the little hood pulled up over his head. All you see is his face, "Steven, do you need another beer?" "I can't drink beer on the air." "Okay, I'll go have another one." Oh, man. I'm having too much fun tonight, but it is good. That's what a way to end the news desk. That's great. Oh, my goodness. Thanks, Steve, for being here. Thanks, Michael. I'll be sending you a text on Wednesday. Make sure everything's good. Hope to stop and also hook up with you as well. And we'll do something short together as well. And together again. And Roy, thanks for stopping in. If anything changes with your mom's appointment, let me know. You have a seat on the train going south. If not, brother, we'll do it again. Don't worry. After the first of the year, we will do it again. Let's see. Little does everybody know, my mom went to school for robotics. I did not know that. My dad's an engineer. They both ran their own electronics lab, and I've been able to solder circuits since I was 10 years. Awesome, man. I did not know that. Also, I was a certified IPC specialist for a couple of years. See, I told you, way above my pay grade, man. You're like, way up here, man. And but I learned from you, man. I like watching your stuff. And the stuff that you and I by the way, let me say this, all due respect, and we cut up and go on. One of the best things I like about your videos is that you don't talk down to me. You don't expect everybody to know everything. I am Iron Man. Definitely. But you, without being oversimplified, but just enough, you're explaining, why something would be a good idea or a bad idea. And, because some of those kind of shows like that I could keep up in a way, but some of it I'd have questions. I'd be like, well, I wonder why they did this way. And I like that you do that. That helps somebody like me who knows just enough to get him in trouble in just about every subject. I know a lot about it. I am the master of useless information that I have gathered over the years. I'll tell people stuff and they look at me and they go, how do you know that? I say because this head has been the repository for useless information that I'm like the hoarder for information. Like I can't get rid of it. It's going to show up one day. I'm going to need it. Like I don't even keep up with the news, and you're talking about all this. I think Michael's like that too. He has all this information, or he's got massive files in his head that, and I think you're like that a little bit too. You bring out stuff that from years ago. It was like, how does he know that? We've just seen a lot of stuff, but that's cool, man. But thanks a lot for them, and I do enjoy your videos. I forget how many you have, but I've worked through quite a few of them, so I still got a ways to go before I'll be caught up though. So I'm working my way back. I didn't start at the beginning. I started at the end. I think the Halloween one, the spooky candle holder, I think that was the first one I watched, and I just worked my way back and then pick up any new ones that you put in. So I'm getting earlier versions of Steve where now he's already changed stuff, but how he got there, I'm sort of going back in time. Then I'm going to bring it back forward. That's kind of cool. See here, he says there's some great feedback. Actually, I'll make sure to keep that up. I'm trying not to be condescending. I say that the engineers in my day job. Hey, that's cool. But yeah, man, no, you're perfect with that. That helps me. When you were putting the handle, and I told you that was one of my favorite things that I've seen you do, is you had some nice little tips in there that probably a lot of people knew, but you included it anyway, and it helped me. I learned a lot. And I seriously learned a lot from that video, and it is my company says, oh my God, you're going back in time. No, my videos are going to seem worse and worse to you. Oh, we get all the way back here like Mr. Rogers putting their little sweater on. Now, kids, let's go out and play with steel. Oh, it does, but I'll see your growth. I'll just go back in time like, oh, okay. That was Steve in the 1800s. Now he's all the way up to the now time. Oh man, it's cool though. Hey, y'all have a great night, man. And we'll see y'all soon. See you in the morning. For the folks that watch the morning show, if all you are not owls and you don't, we'll see you on another night show. And Lord willing, we'll have a bunch of them. There's going to be a lot of promos coming, a lot of pictures and stuff, but some of those are going to be released over time. But you will see some stuff that's going to be released. I also have 3 churches I need to highlight. Got some neat stories on that. I'm going to be putting that together this while I'm off for Christmas. And yeah, see you, man. My first video was a massive stinking pile of crap. I was learning. That's cool, man. Hey, it's all good. I'll still enjoy it. I promise you. Good night, Michael. Good night, Cook. Good night, everybody on Instagram, X, and wherever you are coming from, YouTube, Twitch, any of those, and many, many more. Not many, about 7 or 8 different ones. I think a Kick we go out on, Facebook, wherever you're watching from. Thank you. Salute to you. I do have my older Trump hat on tonight. It's the first time I wore it on the air, I think. And I got to get a new one, but I'm wearing this one. It was on purpose. It was purposed while I wore that. So toodles to all. Have a good night. God bless. See you soon. Let's go make America great again. It's great as it is, but it needs to be a lot greater because we know there's problems. And watch out for drones. Send me a video. I'd like to see your video of the drone. We'll put it on the air. Take care.